The final week of the 2012 legislative session started with a rare Saturday morning budget committee concerning the so-called Parent Trigger Bill. This bill, being pushed by Jeb Bush's foundation and for-profit school companies from California, would create a divisive, purely political process that would enable AstroTurf parent groups to turn public schools deemed failing by the state over to for-profit corporations. California-based Parent Revolution flew teams of lobbyists to support the measure, even though identical legislation has already wreaked havoc on the public schools in their own state. This bill was passed out of committee by a 13-7 vote and then headed to the full Senate for a highly contested floor fight. On Monday, parent organizations like the PTA joined a bipartisan coalition of senators in rejecting the Parent Trigger Bill. Every credible parent group in Florida came out in opposition to this bill because it is not about parents or students. It is about corporations who want to manipulate concerned parents into sabotaging their local public schools so corporations can profit. On Friday, all eyes returned to the Senate for the final vote on the Parent Trigger Bill. The debate drew bipartisan support against the legislation. Many senators did not want to recreate a failed model of education policy from California, while others questioned how collecting petitions to transform schools into for-profit charters was acceptable, but ballot initiatives and voter registration continue to be restricted through the legislative process.
The parent revolt sitting in on that Saturday meeting was most fascinating, and you all were there, those of you on that committee. And I found it amazing that somebody would pay parents to come in from California and say the parent revolt is the way to go. And members, one person who spoke had no interest in this. I'm just a student and I'm working on my master's, etc. And then it turned out he was interning with the Florida Foundation, which got the parent revolt people to come here.
The final vote on the Parent Trigger Bill was 2020, killing this legislation for this session. On Thursday, activists from across the state converged on the fourth floor of the Capitol for a protest against the proposed 2012 budget. Hundreds of workers erupted in song asking the legislature, whose side are they on? After 15 minutes of singing on the fourth floor, the activists then marched to a rally held outside of the Capitol.
You know, what a great thing today to see all of you in this Capitol, because as the representative said a while ago, they think they own this building. Well, you showed them today who owns this building. It's your building, it's not theirs. As a brother to each of you, let me challenge each of you. Go home, spread the message, get your brothers and sisters, your family, your members, all the folks you deal with on a regular basis, motivated, engaged. You can do it. Are you ready?
Yeah! The legislature passed legislation that would require state employees to undergo drug screenings as a condition of employment. This controversial bill will undoubtedly be headed to the judicial system due to its apparent unconstitutional requirements. Before sunny die at 11:59 p.m., the legislature passed another anti-middle class, anti-working families budget, which continues to enforce large tax exemptions for corporations, tax cuts for the wealthy at the expense of steep reductions for state universities, hospitals, and the loss of more than 4,000 state jobs. Instead of respecting middle-class Floridians by passing a budget that would bring quality jobs to our state, support our public education system, and ensure that all Floridians have access to health care, the legislature was relentless in its crusade for corporate special interests. They attempted to privatize vital governmental functions, they created new tax exemptions for corporate giants, and they left no stone unturned to slash the rights and economic security of Florida's middle class. The Working Family Lobby Corps was hard at work on the final days of the legislative session. Here's what a few of them had to say about their experience.
Hi, I'm John Soon from Tallahassee, Florida. I'm a vice president of AFSCME 3037. Coming here to the legislature, this is my second time, gives me an understanding of the legislative process, how things are going, but also gives me understanding how the state government, the legislature is trying to disenfranchise the middle class every day by taking the money away from the working class and giving it to the private businesses.
Hi, my name's Trevor Chapman. I'm a union member with the IBEW Local 1205. This is my first time coming out here and lobbying, and I got to tell you, it's more than just coming out here and fighting the good fight and fighting for what's right, but it's also a learning experience. Just to have the opportunity to come out here and talk to your senator and your representative, it really teaches you a lot about how the bills are made and the whole process. And I just wanted to be thankful for having the opportunity to do that.
My name is Ashley Molazai. I'm Vice President of Retirees for Space Coast AFL-CIO. As a former teacher, I can tell you I've learned a lot this past week. One thing I've learned that legislators seem to act like 7th graders and the senators seem to act like sophomores in high school. But even more seriously, you represent working families, and that's what we're here for, to give the voice of working families who can't come up here and express their views.
Hi, my name is Nikki Johnson. I'm from FOPE, Broward County, Clerk of the Courts. And I just want to let everyone know we need to get out and vote because we don't know who we're putting in these chairs. And from my experience, they passing bills, and some bills are good and some bills are bad. But the only way we can work together and put this fight together, we have to get out and vote. Thank you.
These legislators that we have put in place are not doing the work of the people. We need to get out and vote during the primaries. We need to get out and vote during November 6th. It is imperative that we get out and vote. I'm working with the Working Families Labor Corps to help get the word out. I urge that you do the same thing. Go in your district, go in your communities, tell your brothers and sisters, your aunts, your uncles. Let's get the vote out. November 6th, go and vote.
Now comes the work for Florida's working families to hold these politicians accountable, making 2013 the year that Florida's legislature spends 9 weeks on real middle-class issues instead of just the influential and powerful special interests. Thank you all for watching, and always in solidarity.